Good evening. You know how you thought you were all organised, then you suddenly realised you're completely unorganised. But never mind. Today we continue on. Get rid of the yawn. I'm not yawning yet. So, mad bobbinness. Pins of entrapment. So, I'm going to go for this bit of cloth stitch here. Shove you out the way. I need you. And then we need you. Done with. You're being annoying, which suggests my pillow isn't flat enough. You're being really annoying. So we get a pin. Now try it. And you are already. I don't know if you were crossed, so we'll cross you anyway. We'll get our tub of pins. No, I didn't do anything with hedgie again today. Back over here, I think. Nearly halfway through the square, feeling pleased with myself. It doesn't grow very fast though. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm sure I'm going to regret leaving these pins in, you know. Just because come the end, extracting them all is going to take me a small lifetime. But then, like a lot of these things, if I'm not removing them now, it's time I'm saving now. It just doesn't feel like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, it showed me I had 5 messages, and I was like, no. 4, 5. It's not adding up. 1, 2, 4, 5. I've got 5 here, 1 there, 5 here, 1 stick. Yeah. It works out in the end most times, so have faith, young Padawan. Pop you in there. You're done with for the moment. You can go around the corner. You're done with. So, put you back in a stick. Must have had more in a stick than I thought. You go in a stick. Now you're done with for now. In fact, to give us more space, we're going to shove you a bit harder. Stick a pin in. Right. Now we're going to go back and prop you up momentarily. You and you need to unmate from all the things that you've tangled with. For we're going to need you. So stick. So you're the bottom of there. You look tangled like that. You come out of there like that. It's better. Your shoe should be twisted. So 1, 2. I need you. Isn't that shocking? That doesn't feel right. This is. Right, excuse me. So. Grab 4. Why am I thinking in 4s? I don't need 4s. Done. I definitely need caffeine. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the right number. And I need 2 of you. You can stand up as well. Right. Twist to you. Let's get on with this. Dear goodness. My own stupidity knows no bounds. Keep trying to do. My brain's trying to do this as the rose ground section here. And even in my head it's going, but you've missed a bit. You've missed a bit. No, I haven't. Not yet. I noticed when I posted yesterday's video, you know how I've always said how you only ever spot your crafting things once you proudly post your picture on the internet? Well, of course, as the thumbnails of these videos, I'm using the picture from the day before. So last night, now that we'd done this and the cloth bits, I spotted a mistake in this bit, didn't I? Not going back to fix it, but it will teach me. Evening, mister. How you doing? Oh no. Anything I can do to help? I have a car now. Oh no. Oh no. I actually technically have a spare. It's shit, but I have a spare. It's not shit in its job, but it has, and always has done, if you stop and stand it up in the resting position, it just wheezes gently on the floor itself. It just leaks gradually. Not the dirty water, the clean water, but it leaks, which is highly irritating. And it doesn't do it particularly fast, so, you know, it's hard to track where it's leaking from. But, I know how that goes. I remember Charlie, my little icon guy, he had dodgy guts and basically left chocolate mousse all the way down the stairs. And I mean, it was surprising it come out of one animal quantity of chocolate mousse. And of course, it smelt like nothing else. It seems a common factor, to be honest. Mine does at least stay in. As long as you're moving around and doing the work, it does at least stay in the thing while you're working. It only tends to piddle out when it's at rest. So what I tended to do was I did the carpet cleaning and then went and put it in the bath. So it could weigh itself all it liked because it was in the bath now. So I very much... Yeah. It wouldn't be so bad, but things like that, considering... I mean, the one thing that I find frustrating with all carpet cleaners is none of them are actually that good. Now, they will spray the floor with soapy water, for want of a better word, perfectly well, but they don't tend to suck it up that well. In fact, the best way to suck it up is to put your foot on it so that it's flatter against the floor as it transfers over the carpet. Then it tends to suck the water up. This is not a good way to be cleaning your carpets. So I know how you feel. Yeah, you see, on mine, I don't think it's a punctured pipe. I think it's just a shit design because it has done it since the day I bought it. Now, that could mean that there is a small hole, bad connection in the piping somewhere, but it kind of... It's like a fast dripping tap. So if you go away for 10 minutes to have a pee and wash your hands and, you know, make a new drink and come back to it, there will be puddle of water underneath it. Like it's peed like a little puppy, you know, it's but at least it is the clean water. I mean, that's the only thing to be grateful for, I suppose. Could be worse. Could be the dirty water that's coming out. Well, my day was crappy. Not as crappy as yours, by the sounds of it. But my day was pretty crappy. So, on Saturday, we had some licences that ran out at work. We knew they were running out, but new licences had not yet been attempted. Yeah. Well... Finally, the new licences arrived today. Now, when I say licences, they are individual licences. So my 200 servers, I have to go to each one and type in, this is your license code. Now, being me and a bit resourceful, I have managed to magic up a way of getting a code from the file and assigning it to a server, keeping record of which ones have which, and doing all of that, because, well, that's the kind of girl I am. So today I had to assign basically 200 odd manual codes to servers. No one said thank you. I am so tired of that. You get people who get like ticker tape parades because they went for a pee, or they had a meeting, or they read something, and you actually do hard work, and it took me, I think it was 20 minutes. I took the file, which was in XML format, which was not what I wanted, stripped out all the irrelevant shit, put it into my shit, and then divided it between prod and non-prod, and then dished out all the codes and set everything up and checked it, and I didn't even get a thank you. And it's kind of like, especially as I also know there's some shit going down and complaints are being made that not enough's been done, blah de blah, and you know, all these kind of things. I'm sorry. It was not me who did not buy the licenses. I don't have those powers, you know. It's also interesting that somebody told a very senior member of staff that the licenses had been got on the 24th, and you know, they were struggling to get hold of them because someone was off sick. Yet the mail they forwarded me at 7 o'clock this morning said that Thank you for dated today. Said thank you for purchasing the licenses. You now need to log into the portal to go and get them. So today's not the 24th. I don't know if you're aware of that. So yes, it's been one of those days, I guess. My co-worker had a bad day. Seems like everybody had a bad day today. If anyone had a good day, we need to hear about it, because clearly, otherwise, the world just had a bad day. Seriously though, Naughty Cat, if I can help, I would. Mind you, if you saw the state of my carpets, you wouldn't believe I have a carpet cleaner, so... Let alone, technically, actually, I've got two, you know. Just because... Let's just say... the early days of these puppies was not good for a beige carpet. No matter how much I cleaned them, they don't seem to be clean. One, two, three, four, five. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 4, 5. Right, you are done with. Till next triangle. That's all right. Well, hang on. I think that's one of the things I found with I bought a Dyson. I bought one of those pet Dyson vacuum cleaners, and the modern one, not the older one, the modern one, right? Now, originally, that thing could suck the devil out of hell through concrete. The problem is that's actually a bit too much. Possibly, yeah, hang on. Let me quickly Google what that looks like, and I'll tell you if it's the same one or not. DC 25. Yeah, looks like the beast. Now, when I bought it, it was quite expensive and brand new. And as I say, it sucked so hard that I almost couldn't move it on the carpet. And even though there are settings, it wasn't enough to allow me to freely move around my carpet. Now, I'm not a weak, wimpy person. I have weight. I have muscle. So, not being able to move it really was quite awkward. And then I also found that to empty it, when it had dog hair in it, was near impossible. Because it had sucked it so hard, it had really ram-packed it in there, and it didn't come out of its own free will. Now, as many Dyson owners know, a chopstick is a glorious thing. But the problem I had with it was that the way it was designed was you almost, it would get stuck in places that you really should have. Seriously, if you'd seen it on a rug, you would know it literally would not move. And I'm the best part of 20 stone. And if I can't move it, it's pretty much not moving, right? I did karate. I'm really good at stances. I can become an immovable object. And this vacuum cleaner beat me. And it was ridiculous. It was too much. Now, I don't disagree having the ability to suck that hard is a good thing. Because obviously, but what it does need is it needs some method of travelling while doing it. And it's a bit like, it's like a bad Flymo, where you're supposed to, of course, swing your Flymo like this, but if it won't lift off the ground a bit with the speed of the propeller, you can't really swing it, so it becomes useless, right? And this thing really was impossible to use. But I also found that the little kind of jug that holds your sweepings in kept clogging, and I had to keep pulling it apart to unclog it from bits where it, hey, well, it shouldn't get stuck in. Well, it does, kind of moment. And it wasn't because I was overfilling it. I was paying very careful attention to it. But, tiniest bit of dog, because obviously dog hair, it's an animal product. You must be aware of dog hair. But basically, it would collect in the little bit that it's not supposed to. And then, of course, it wouldn't suck because, well, it's full of dog hair. So you needed to clean it out. And the only way to really get to it was to undo something that really wasn't designed for it. Well, of course, eventually it broke, didn't it? Well, now, of course, it's got the suction of a limp rag on a stick, all right? Because, of course, it's not got the seal it had before. So, like a lot of these things. In the end, actually, I got a shark pet thing, and that works so much better. I think it's shark. I'd have to go and look. You know how it is. You pick it up, you use it. You don't go, "Hello, Mr. Shark," every time, But Dysons are somewhat more recognisable. I think it's a shark. And it could do a really good suck, but it also, because you could take the wand off the kind of dust collector, you could get it under a few more things that the Dyson really wasn't. I mean, yes, you can take the thing off the Dyson, but it's attached at the top, so if you move just a little bit too far, the damn thing falls over and gets all panicky because it fell over. Whereas, of course, the shark thing was designed a little bit more sensibly, and it doesn't tend to fall over, and it's got a little light on it so you can see what you're doing. It's got like headlights on the front, and it's not the stupid one that makes the little two bales of nothing, because, well, I've got a dog and I do not hoover every 10 minutes to make that a viable product. But it's got a, long hair anti-roller thing that I've had to clean a few times because, it won't stick. Yeah, it does. And now I am part of the source of this long hair of stickiness because my hair's down to my waist. So, but don't be saying it don't stick when it does. It's not hard to clean though, because unlike the Dyson, where you need a screwdriver and kind of a biomechanical engineer to achieve it, this literally has, you can use anything. You use like 10p, undo all the little bits, all the back then undoes, pops off, you clean it all, put it all back, do them tighter with the things, and off you go. It is much better designed in that front. It doesn't suck as hard, but it does do a pretty good job. I mean, I would say that, a bit like the joins for my lace thing, if the king was to come a-visiting, a brand new Dyson DC25 Animal probably is the thing you want. But for everybody else, including the mother-in-law, this shark thing was, I think it's shark. Oh, hang on, I'll look it up. Amazon will know, because, well, that's where I bought it from, so pretty sure I bought it from Amazon anyway. Orders. Pretty sure it was a shark. Yeah, I got a shark AX950 UKT. Whatever the flying one of those is. So I had one of those, and basically it was perfectly good. I really like that. And it's 6 years old now. Hang on. I don't know whether it's still a. Doesn't look like it's the current one. However, this is the current one. Hang on. Where's the fucking link thing on a PC? So used to doing it on my phone because it's just so much easier. Because you just click the share button. Oh, screw it. Let's do it on my phone. My ex-husband can't understand why I keep doing stuff on my phone. It's really simple. Because it's designed for stuff. Everything now is designed to be. There's currently a thing on Amazon. There's a current deal on Amazon, so it's on cheap at the moment. Where's the share button gone? Copy. Hang on. Why is it that this thing does weird things to me? It pops up and goes, you can control your Twitch stream. There we go. Paste. Go. Did that post? It doesn't look like it. So if I had to take my glasses off. No, let's try that again. Paste. Send. What the fuck is wrong with this? Why can't I? Yeah, it's not letting me. I'm on a chat and it says send chat, and yet it's not sending chat. What the fuck is wrong with everything? Why can't anything just work these days? For goodness sake. No, I'm annoyed because, you know, here I am, I've got my stream link up on my phone, and if I even just type hello, hit send, it takes it away, but doesn't do anything. Fuck you then, let's do it the hard way. Bear with me one moment as I click on my own stream and you get feedback. And let's do it this way then. Paste, go. No, it's just clear not doing it. Well, this one clearly is. It's. Hang on, let me swipe out of it and try again. Because it's pasting the link, I hit go, and it's literally doing nothing. It's just one of those kind of frustrating things that you're sitting there going, I'm sorry, but just friggin' post it. Just friggin' paste it. There. Piece of shit bag crappy. All that work just to post the world's shortest frigging link. But I really like mine. Mine's a marginally older version of that one. I really like mine because it sucks well enough, really easy to empty. And I mean, unlike the Dyson, which should be easy to empty, this one actually works. Probably find in 40 minutes like 900 messages will come through from me as everything suddenly wakes up. Can you stop leaning? I had a Vax originally, and when Charlie did his chocolate mousse trick, I had one of those Vaxes that could do wet and dry, and I went to do wet, and it literally, we'd used it once, we'd cleaned it out afterwards, you know, we're not stupid. I went to use it again, wouldn't even power on, damn thing was dead, and there was all this chocolate mousse, so we had to go shopping. Yeah. While the house stank out, you know. Poor Charlie. He'd not been well. But yeah, I found that little shark thing really quite pleasant to be doing housework with. Bear in mind, I am barely domesticated. But I found it nice because it is quite light. But obviously, when you've got the little... Because instead of when you want the wand, you take the wand out of the thing at the back. You've still got a thing that, you know, a snake that you can take out the back, but the actual wand with the head on it that you normally use, you attach the, like, tank to it. So when you want to unattach the tank sits on the floor, so it's really stable. And it's really easy to use, really easy to put together. I'll say it's very old fogey compatible because it is quite light, unlike the Dysons that seem to be made of tungsten steel, which isn't a bad thing. Strength is a virtue. But, you know, in terms of vacuum cleaner, you can carry this one upstairs without giving yourself a hernia and wishing that, you know, you had 6 people to help you. So it is quite a practical little thing, but it's not that little. It holds and does just as much as the Dyson, so I really like him. He was one of my better buys. I spent a weekend kind of watching YouTube videos of, this is my vacuum cleaner, this is what it does, here is it in a situation, you know. I did the same with carpet washers as well. Can't remember whose carpet washer I got. Hang on, I'll tell you whose carpet washer I bought in the end. Because the Vax was the one that wheeze everywhere. The upright Vax one that I got. I think it was a Vax. Hang on. Yeah, part of the reason the sharp one's so much easier is when you take the tank out, when you take the little emptying thing out, it actually kind of the stuff just literally will tip out. It's really easy. Hang on, let me check whose carpet washer I bought. So yeah, the first one, the one that wheezes itself is a Vax W90. And then I bought a Bissell in the end, and I like my little Bissell. But I also got a Spot thing as well for easier upstairs and smaller portions. It lives in my downstairs toilet, like a little snail. Right, so yeah, I mean, Bissell's usually a quite good make for things, but like everything can die, I guess. My Vax definitely wheeze everywhere. I wouldn't recommend that Vax to anyone, to the point that I've got a friend who borrows things, and when she needs a carpet washer, because she won't buy one of her own, I lend her mine. I lend her that one. Because I know it wheezes itself, but at the same time, if she does something wrong to it, I won't be that upset. You know, it's the... I suppose I ought to, you know... to be honest, I should give her it. I think that was one of the things that used to annoy me, was that I actually gave her a vacuum cleaner when hers broke. All she did was complain. And you're like, I'm sorry that your gift was not, I didn't buy you the top of the range Vanden Pla one, you know. But I gave you a vacuum cleaner. Ungrateful cow. Alright. So. Right. Push you down a bit, just because we can push you down a bit, because we don't need you sticking up. And in fact, I've just realised there's 2 layers there. So that's, oops, didn't want to push you down there. Right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you are done with for this triangle. Except for perhaps you. We shall see. Pop you over here. Come back to you. You are irrelevant at this point. Yeah, my Vibissel never leaked on me. But, you know, if you ever watch like the YouTube videos of people with doing vacuum carpet washing kind of thing, what I... Awesome. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately as pet owners, our beloved pets, unlike our good selves, where hopefully we make it to the toilet and we do abysmal things to it occasionally, sometimes they just kind of... owner, I needed a poo. There it is. Look, see? Yeah, don't tread on it. You'll only get annoyed. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, we've all had a moment where it's kind of like, body goes, I am going to the toilet in 3, 2, 1. And if you're not there by now, sucks to be you. You know, we've all had some of those moments, and as pet owners, we appreciate that occasionally our pets have those moments too. But doesn't mean we enjoy cleaning them up. The problem I had with these two was because they had such a traumatic moment getting here. It does, and that is in part why my carpet looks as bad as it does, because before I got these two, my dogs were of similar age, and as we know, Fiona turned out to have basically the whole of her inside was cancerous, so she piddled on the floor. And I wasn't pleased with her, but I wasn't mad at her because I did recognise that she was not doing it deliberately. It's not like she'd almost look around and go, no one's looking. She'd be walking along and it would be kind of like leaking as she went. She was unaware of it. And so I couldn't be mad at her. I mean, I was mad, but I wasn't mad at her. And my beige carpet started looking a little second-hand. When these two got here, Maddie was very good, but these two were not. And because they had such a traumatic time getting here, there was no... I've always been troubled by not how to train your dog, but that there is a kind of... I've never felt that just clicker training was a successful idea, just as smacking the crap out of your dog is not a successful idea. That there is some balance in the middle. Because obviously you've got to say to the dog, I am not happy with this, and I am happy with this. There should be two very, very contradicting states. And the problem is they were so traumatized by when they got here that any form of signs of frustration, disappointment, and they were so scared. Well, it then meant that you almost had to do a little, I'm going to watch the carpet dance. I'm all happy. So I almost, even though, like I have now, my back door is open. Now, it's not wide open because, well, it's winter, but it's open. They can go in and out. And it, when I got them, it was warmer, so the door was physically open. Now, they knew they weren't supposed to do it, because obviously if they did it right in front of me, I would say no and do all the good things that you should do. But they would do it in the hall when I wasn't looking. And as a result of doing it in the hall when I wasn't looking, you go for a pee or a drink, squish. So you clean up, squish. You come back from, you sit down, next time you go out, even though the door's open, you go out to come in, little mountain, clean out the mountain. They just seemed to think it was kind of waiter service. And yeah, I couldn't do much about it. And so that really kind of was the last straw for my poor carpet. Because my carpet is basically a slightly yellower version of my jumper. It's a bit more this coloured, but slightly lighter. It's a cross between the two. So, it's a stupid colour for a fucking carpet with pets, frankly. But then it came with the house. So, and it was pretty much brand new, unfortunately. Now not so much, obviously. So the landing upstairs, the hallway downstairs. No, they look frankly quite horrific. And the pathway in here is also quite bad, just because of the heavy use it gets, I think. So between the two, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have spent hours cleaning it, making it look pristine, and almost like by the time it's dry, it's looking secondhand again. It's kind of like, I'm not in the mood for this. But I always like the way the carpet cleaners on YouTube work. The semi-pro ones where they've got like a wand with like a hook on the end of it, and they basically scrape up the water and they get it clean. I want one of those. I actually want one of those. I'd pay enough for a pro one of those if I could get one. Because they also actually dry the carpet. I mean, not 100% bone dry, but compared to the, even the ones where, it will only take half an hour if your carpet's dry, bollocks. On a really hot sunny day, maybe it'll take half an hour for your carpet's dry, or if you've got the heating cranked up to 40. But if you haven't, no, it doesn't take half an hour to dry. Not if you actually cleaned your carpet. I've always wondered that, because it looks like it's been in the barn from milking cows or something. Basically it is a solid sheet of mud encased around a carpet. And you're kind of going, how in the name of mercy? But it also seems to be, it's a bit like when they do the washing adverts. Oh, look, I've spilt wine on my t-shirt, immediately puts it in. Your shit never gets immediately put in the wash unless you're at home. You have the stain on it for half a day, so it's dried in. It's not the same, This sounds like a good deal to me. I'm very much up for that kind of stuff. I mean, to be honest, there was an American kid whose family ran a carpet washer. I really enjoyed watching their stuff. I'll watch. I mean, as long as it's not achieving doing housework, I'll pretty much watch anything. To be honest. I will warn you that I am quite prepared for the internet YouTube darks of, pus-filled videos, which haven't had any offers from YouTube for ages for those, but I'm quite up for the botfly, the pus-filled, because it's not me. But it is, I love watching the carpet ones, but as you say, they always seem to have been bought in from, like, the milking herd run or something, because there's, like, 6 inches of mud on it, and you're like, no, my rug looks real sorry for itself. It does look like it's kind of walking from the field level of grub, but it's not 6 inches of mud like those, because their stuff always seems to be fresh. That's the problem I have with it, is that all of their mud seems to be fresh. It's like, as you say, they've gone and raked it round, dragged it round a field for half an hour before they show you it being cleaned. It's not dried on, encrusted something or other. It is fresh. It is spray it with a bit of a hose and it's starting to come off, It's just not natural. It's just not normal, But I definitely want one of the kind of like pro ones where they have the metal kind of claw that they scrape across the carpets, that not goes into a van necessarily, but that, because they've got like the little portable ones, but they do a cracking job, far better than anything I've ever seen that you can buy out of a store for money. Time to stick some of these, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Seriously, if I could get a cleaning company closing down, we've got a bunch of professional carpet cleaners, do you want one that will, basically suck your soul out of your carpet? Yes, please. I would pay a few quid for that. I wouldn't mind. Just because the, quote, domestic versions, it's like when you've got the industrial strength paint stripper. I want the industrial one. I want the one that doesn't just kind of go, there you go, there you go, I've tidied now. No, I want it to, like, rip my soul out of my carpet. And, basically for me to discover this carpet was actually white rather than beige. That's what I want. It was never white. But that kind of carpet cleaner, I want to go, damn, really? Was it that pale? Not, yeah, I suppose it's cleaner. Ish. The bit by the door in here that gets all the heavy use traffic. Well, and you see, this is the thing. you and I are old enough that we remember when shit did a job and that chemicals actually did stuff. And, you know, I mean, I'm going to say this. They still say that you should not put bleach on your skin. I could put bleach on my face and it wouldn't do anything. There's so little bleach in bleach these days, right? I mean, I haven't tried my face, but I have had it on my hands and not frantically washed them and, yeah, whatever. And, you know, we live in that day and age where because, oh, someone might drink that. Oh, yeah, okay. They're stupid, but, you know, oh, they might drink that. They might, you know, someone might eat it. Oh, well, then keep it away from places where you might eat it. That's why we kept all this shit in the garage, you know? Or in a shed somewhere. You know, because frankly, this stuff was enough to start some form of, you know, semi kind of mass extinction event. I just find it so frustrating, like you say, that you go to buy something and whether it's cleaning, any form of cleaning product, just doesn't clean anymore. I mean, back in the day, the reason you had white stuff washing powder and coloured stuff washing powder, because was the white stuff sucked the crap out of all your clothes and the colour and everything else, because it wanted it to be white at the end of it. And of course, oh, well, you only wash your clothes on 30. No, we used to boil the stuff. You know, we were a lot harsher to our stuff back then, but it's funny how it lasted. You know, we used to, you know, as you say, chemicals back then, you know, you really did need the hazmat suit, but of course you didn't use one. Because, well, you know, we're man, you know, we're people of the time, we'll just use it. You know, it is almost the cartoon using a flamethrower to light your cigarette kind of thing, right? It's, you know, we were, that was the kind of, yeah, okay. We did that stuff. I remember someone finding out that cider, proper cider, none of this piss you buy in a jar these days, but proper cider and battery acid will eat through concrete. They spilt some on their patio. So yeah, I miss the days where you bought stuff that cleaned stuff. You know, oven cleaner that you squirted in your oven and you promptly almost needed an ambulance because you were coughing and choking and dying. These days, you squirt it in and you kind of look at it. You come back an hour later and I suppose it's moved a couple of molecules of grime. Nothing kind of seems to work properly anymore because, of course, yeah, you see, I remember when alcoholic wipes for computers, so cleaning the tape decks at work. No, I wanted that one. Come back. I wanted you. Come on. This is the time when it gets complicated. The alcoholic stuff that you used to, because it was basically neat alcohol, you put it on little kind of cotton swabby type things and you clean things with it. even with the ventilation of a server room, which is quite substantial usually. Keen enough tape drives. Oh, there's a frigging kite. Gives you a headache for a while. My dad melted lead. I can't remember what he was making with it. What did my dad used to melt lead for? He was he making his own shotgun, his air gun pellets? I don't think he was, but he was melting lead for something. He used to do quite a bit of it, and at one point, and I wasn't paying attention as to why he was doing it, but he did his out in the garage, so maybe he had a bit more sense. But we've all done dumb stuff. It's glue. My dad used to spend hours gluing freaking bits of balsa wood together to call it a boat. Bad enough make you kind of a bit loopy on the corners, 300 gallons of Evo stick, Yeah, I just miss stuff that worked. Nothing these days seems to really work. I mean, we talked about it the other day. Things like, back in the day when we were kids, the amount of Ribena you put in water to make decently strong Ribena was less than a thimble. These days, it's half a bottle and that's considered concentrate. It's not concentrate. Drink it neat. I mean, we drank it neat back then and all, but drink that neat, we didn't even notice. Everything feels watered down, flavoured down. It just doesn't feel... Well, it just feels... I mean, we said it about crisps. We all remember the crisp. That you'd buy a packet of crisps and that'd be like the one with the flavour. And you could see the flavour on this thing from space. And you were full of glee when you found it. Because there was this crisp, and it was usually a decent sized crisp. There was this crisp, and it was measurably thick in flavour. And this was about to go in your face. I feel betrayed by so many of them. Because they're just not what they were. Nothing has that... I mean, even Fairy Liquid's pissy compared to what it used to be. Everything just feels that little bit weaker than it used to be. And I know a lot of it is because of the, oh, but so-and-so may drink it, eat it. Oh, if it gets to, if it catches fire, it will explode. Yeah? But if I want a thing that does a job, I don't want to pay 50 quid for a bottle of stuff that just kind of goes, at it. I want it to do the job. I mean, a few years ago, man came and sprayed some ivy in my garden. My old garden, but my garden. To kill it. Because it was a little bit excessive. He got special stuff that you had to have, he had to have a license and he had to have been trained for, and which he had, but he went and bought this really expensive stuff, right? Yeah, kind of, one grade down from napalm kind of thing, right? Sprayed it on all of the stuff in my garden. It was a dry week, so it didn't get washed off. It didn't. Week later, if anything, the ivy looked friggin' healthier. And he came back and he was mortified. Because it should have shriveled to a blackened crisp. And it was kind of going, yeah. I'm sorry, did you speak to me? Oh, I didn't notice, sorry. It literally hadn't done a thing. So he paid for round 2 out of his own pocket because this stuff was guaranteed to kill shit. Round 2, another week later, having had a dry week, it hadn't been washed off or anything. Still, and he went, I can't kill it. Can't kill it with anything that I can put in the gun. And you're like, thanks for that. Cheers. You know, so all of this Roundup bollocks, of course he didn't touch it. But to be honest, even things like Roundup for normal weeds like, you know, dandelions and stuff, isn't actually that good at it. And he goes, oh, in 24 hours you'll see it dying. Nah, not most of them. Even if you soak it in them, it doesn't. This doesn't feel right. Yes. That's the time when your nearby farmer is your friend. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this is right. It's right. My brain just farted momentarily. Yes, farm friends are good for shit that actually works. Because they're allowed to spray more interesting things than, you know, you and I can buy down B&Q sort of thing. But that's the problem is, as you say, is the, you know, you want to strip, I don't know, the garage door because it's bright pink or something and you want to paint it a decent colour. You paint it with paint stripper. All it does is generally make the paint slightly tacky. It doesn't strip it. We all remember days in the days of yore where you pretty much, if you spilt paint thinner on everything, it ate through your life. You know, it... Really? Was it one of those? I'm sorry, you put what in what now? It's like getting battery acid in a paper cup. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, plastic does not generally. It depending on what the substance is on in the inside, of course, is that plastic will not necessarily be degrading by it, but at the same time. Because, of course, that is part of the problem with the old metal tins of stuff, was that it would eat it. Yeah. As you say, I mean, the problem when we used to buy stuff like paint thinner and all the rest of it was it came in a metal tin. And the problem was it would eat the metal tin slowly over time. So from that point of view, I can understand the plastic tub because it doesn't necessarily eat the plastic tub. Obviously it depends on what the paint stripper's made of, but it, you know, potentially does not eat the plastic tub. But at the same time, as I say, it's like getting a tub of battery acid in a paper cup. It's kind of like, I'm saying, is this really safe? Is this been tested? You know. Am I going to come back tomorrow and discover just a pool of melted plastic on the floor? Yeah, you know. Is it going to eat my car alive on the way back? You know. Idiots. I wonder why this didn't... You need to go over there and stay over there. But even heavy duty isn't heavy duty anymore. Heavy duty is the lightweight crap we wouldn't have, the cheap shit we wouldn't have bought back in the 70s and 80s because it was terrible. I mean, as an example... Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for the follow. So, as an example, I have some Pritt stick. Here. Let me scrape my hand with the Pritt stick. I have scraped my hand with the Pritt stick. Now, as most of us know, back in the days of yore, Pritt stick was quite sticky. I mean, there is a bit of tack to it. It doesn't... But it's not sticky. There's no stick to that whatsoever. I mean, I know Pritt stick wasn't exactly like super glue, but it did at least stick stuff. I might as well use lip seal than that. It's kind of got the same sort of stick power as a lip seal, and you're like... Ooh! No judging, please, because there are hundreds of mistakes. Hundreds of mistakes. So... So yes, I make no pretense that I'm an expert at this. I, in fact, distinctly am not an expert at this, but I am very good at making mistakes. That I am pretty much an expert at. Well, if it's any consolation, I did a load when I was a kid. So, I say a load. I did a load when I was a kid. So I say a load because when you were a child, everything took 6 lifetimes, right? So I made probably 1-inch strips of whole stitch, half stitch, and I think it was uncloth stitch. So it was kind of, and I didn't really finish them. We just sort of chopped the bobbins off and chucked it and then made the next one. So I only really made 3 things as a kid. Well, I learnt from a book my cousin had and practiced then. My mother found someone locally who made lace, and she told my mother where to find a couple of bits from. So I got a pillow. It wasn't a proper pillow like this. It was the Heath Robson, get a bit of foam, cover it in some stuff kind of pillow. And... because I'd never learnt to finish anything, and I never made 3 strips of 1 stitch, not even a bit of a bookmark with 2 stitches in it, I didn't fall out of love with it, but I don't think my mother was kind of keen for me to do a lot because it just took forever and you know, didn't seem to have any purpose. and I'm not a lace kind of person. I'm really not a lace person. So it was not really an appropriate thing of spending my time on. So my mother kind of dissuaded me from doing it. Until last year, I woke up and my brain did what my brain does best, which is go, Liz, yes, brain, I want to do lace bobbin making again. Brain, you haven't done that in like 40 years. But I want to do it now. Okay, brain. Because my brain's really annoying if I don't let it. So it is the small whiny, are we there yet kind of kid. So I have to let it. So I made a bobbin pillow out of some stuff I had and some bobbins out of those really, really big dolly. So they've got a rounded ball on the end and they've got like a big fat shaft with a kind of a U-shaped dent in the middle so you can ram them on the clothesline. I used a load of those in my bobbins and I kind of went, I vaguely remember doing this. Yes, I remember this. This is vaguely coming back. I remember doing some of these things. And so I bought proper stuff. Adverts, what on adverts? Oh. Will you stop rolling to the side? That's a little too far. There we go. Oh, that's really cool. I know what you mean. I've got quite a lot of bobbins. I do think that, like a lot of these things, there are every tool. I mean, it's like screwdrivers, right? A screwdriver should be a screwdriver. It's either a flathead or a Phillips. There is. How can it be different? But there is. If some have really uncomfortable handles that you can't really get a grip on, some kind of got bits that are painful if you're trying to do this with your hand. And you have to find one that you like. And bobbins is definitely falling into that category. So, for example, personally, the bobbin of most hated variety is the traditional Midlands bobbin. So do I. And I have just bought a truckload, and that is the correct terminology, believe me, of these. Now, these don't look very exciting. They look like Midlands bobbins until you put a Midlands bobbin next to it and discover that the Midlands bobbin is a tiny little thing in comparison, right? These things, these two bobbins weigh... These bobbins here, so all these Danish bobbins that I've got here, two of these. Sorry, I've just tangled all my things up now. Two of the bobbins almost weigh as much. I'd say three of those bobbins weigh as much as these on a stick. Okay, they really weigh, and I love them. So I've ordered the proverbial truckload because they weigh, right? Because I'm not a delicate, dainty person. That is not in my personality. And so, as a result of which, I mean, for example, where's it gone? I have my toothpick around somewhere. Where's my toothpick? It's not a toothpick, but I call it a toothpick. Somewhere I've got a Honiton bobbin, which, when viewed in comparison, just looks like a toothpick. It's, it's made of nothing. It's small. It's thin. It weighs nothing. There it is. It's hiding. This is, I mean, if I put it next to one of my new favoured bobbins, it's huge, right? This is a toothpick, in my opinion. It weighs literally nothing. Christ, it was hiding behind a bobbin. I've got a box. Well, exactly. And I mean, when I first made the first square of torchon stuff that I did, I used Honiton bobbins because I knew there were going to be quite a few. And obviously, a small bobbin would fit much better on the pillow. Well, yes, technically it did. That was about the only thing it did do. The rest of the time, it jumbled, muddled, and drove me absolutely insane. Because it's tiny, and what I ended up doing was putting these round them, a pair. So, like, for example, these to a pair. Take these, and everything would then be a pair, so that, but obviously the Honiton bobbins would stay flat like this, and so that, at least the pairs were kept together, so you only had to untangle pairs of bobbins. But of course, it also then meant for every time you went to pick up a pair of bobbins, yeah, but it isn't, because you spend your entire lifetime putting on and taking off stupid tiny elastic bands. Now, the stupid tiny elastic bands are real cheap, but not the point, right? I mean, I'm quite inventive. I have methods to my madness. And so it did really help. I will tell you, it really did help with the toothpicks. But I was not a happy bunny. So I then bought, I then went... It did. It did help, because we all know that as a beginner, you make mistakes and do things that lead to your own frustration, right? And you're already winding yourself up pretty much by getting out of bed in the morning, let alone by any additional joys that the world may bring with you. And it does mean that you find yourself sitting there going, I can't take this. I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to go absolutely loopy. I'm going to take it in the garden, throw it on the bonfire, never speak of it again. And I hate it. I hate it. But the thing is part of it is because you're new and you're not experienced. And, you know, we've all seen the lace makers who have, like, you know, 20,000 bobbins, and they just seem to go, and never once, and they just kind of chuck all their bobbins in a humongous great mountainous pile, but they go to take the pair off. They don't seem to have to spend half an hour finding out where the other half of that pair was. They always manage to pick up the right ones. How does that work? Because it doesn't work for anybody else. You know, I mean, this works because I've got them on sticks, but if I just put them in a pile, I'd spend half the evening looking for bobbins. And I do find on bolster pillows it works better because you put them over in a pair, and so the last two generally are the pair that you threw over. But on a flat pillow, it doesn't work like that. You just spend your life cursing and playing, does this go round here? And I mean, it's just one of those things, right? And so as a beginner, we have enough problems without adding to them. And so did I, but shall I tell you why I prefer these? These are flatter and wider. The ones with the spring are technically actually knitting needle stitch holders, right? This tends to hold your bobbin flat, look, so they're quite stable, so you can pick them up and move them around. And now the strings are nice and sprung, so they hold the bobbins nice and. I've got different ones, a bit like these, but a bit thinner, and they're too weak. The elastic's not strong enough. So again, if you pick them up, they're thinner, so. This I can help you with because they were not from the UK, I don't think. But hang on, I can sort you out a link for that. It was on Etsy. Hang on. Purchases. There they are. I want to go there. There we go. Those. Why is it I have an amazing ability to tab past the 26 things that I want? I've got like 26 windows open. You wouldn't believe I've got a lot of windows open, but somehow I do. And I always manage to go one tab too far. And then, of course, you're going to go around the whole loop again because you can't alt-tab in the other direction. Actually, you can. Holy shit. How did I not know? Why did I not try that before? You can shift. If you do alt-tab to tab through, if you press shift, you go back the way you came. Holy mother Christ. I've learned something today. And I work in IT. I didn't know that. And I'm usually good with keyboard shortcuts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Suddenly dawned on me. I wonder if shift works. The answer is yes, it does. But there you go. Those are the ones that I bought. I love them. The only feedback I gave the seller was because they are dead flat the whole way, it would be slightly nicer if this was tapered to help with the scraping underneath the bobbins. But it's not important. It's not that bad. They're not that thick. But it would be an added bonus if they did. And me not being the delicate person having two destructive tornadoes known as dogs, I need strength. I need to know that when this gets knocked over for the God knows how many time. I mean, to be fair, the last time I knocked it over, but I kicked it by mistake. Don't ask. I put it to the side and I managed to kick it somehow. you're at home. Naughty Celt's got large dogs. We like dogs around here. Dogs are good. All thing dog is very much appreciated. So you're definitely one of us. That's fine. So yeah, you understand then that you need dog-proof stuff, right? Which, of course, is why I'm not really into lace and stuff, because, well, A, I'm not a small, delicate person, and B, lace would not survive in a dog-proof environment, in a dog environment. So, well, it usually does. It usually does. To be fair, I got these two as a pair. They're brother and sister pair. Let me quickly introduce them, so I'm not actually going anywhere. Hang on. Those are my two current furry friends. They're called Rory and Amy. Rory, the little black one, is an utter darling. Rory is very gentle, very lovely, and frankly a joy to have. Except should you need to trim his toenails, in which case he is pile of teeth and will eat you alive and does not care to hold back. He also has slightly PTSD kind of thing in that sometimes he wakes up from his nap and is going to kill somebody. He did it on the stream about a week or so ago, and he went for his sister, proper. There was a dot of blood, but nothing that, we needed to do anything about. But he does it, and when it seems to be, if something touches his bottom while he's asleep. Now, I don't think he had been forced to do things that perhaps he was not interested in, but I do think maybe he got kicked, maybe he got trodden on a lot, I mean, when I got him, he was only 4 months old, and they found him when he was like a little bean, like this big. So part of me would like to think that he did not have a really traumatic time, but he had a really traumatic time getting here. I think there is a little bit of dominance to it, but I had his what's-its removed when he was 5 months old on the simple grounds that my vet was like, oh, well, it's very, it's really uncommon that, first time round that there'd be puppies, because obviously they were brother and sister, and they didn't want to spay her before her first. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that one before. And we got two puppies that were like 4 months old, from the RSPCA, and my vet, the vet at the time, didn't neuter them, and well, very shortly afterwards we had two puppies. So I need for this not to be happening. I cannot have puppies because I'm working, I was working in an office at the time. I can't have puppies at home. They're not going to let me work from home because I've got puppies. I really don't need to bring puppies into this world, much as they would be insanely cute. Yeah, I'm a strong believer of fixing them. It does help with a lot of things. So Rory is not dominant in that respect. Rory has no idea because, well, he never really got to know what they were for. But every so often, and it's nearly always while he's asleep, it has once been over food. There was a real big fight over food, and it was so unnecessary. It was ridiculous. But it was basically, I had some sauce of left pasta, and I let them lick the bowl, as is not uncommon in my household. Yeah, I mean, by then it's not worth it. But, I had Rory and Amy done together because they'd never been apart, and they were still quite young. I hadn't had them very long. And so I didn't want to add to their trauma by trying to split them. And then, of course, it's all well and good them having cones, but the other one can get to it. So, it was just like, I want a couple of weeks of hell and for it to be over. So everybody got done on the same day, and I got the phone call. Because normally my vets phone at 1 and kind of go, hey, they've had their operation. You can come and collect them about 5. And you go, okay. I got a phone call at 1. Come and get your dogs. Okay, bit early. So my neighbour had to help me because I knew that I wouldn't be able to restrain both dogs in the car because I'd gone down in the car with my ex-husband in the morning. But to collect them, I couldn't really put them in my car, restrain them both, and drive at the same time. So, because I just don't really have dog restraining to the capacity required for these two, because they don't like travelling at all. So my neighbour helped. My neighbour said, screw it, to one of his meetings and took me down the vets to pick up the dogs. We pulled into the car park. We could hear them screaming. They were in a crate. They don't do crates. Because they spent... When I first got the picture, and the early pictures for Rory and Amy are utterly insanely cute. I mean, they're pretty cute anyway, but they were utterly insanely cute. And I fell in love with them and agreed to it. And only afterwards did I find out they were not in this country. So they had to travel here. They travelled here by van. They spent the best part of 2 to 3 days in a van, in a crate, never being let out, being pooped and peed on by the animals above them. And so by the time they got here, they were absolutely petrified. I mean, don't get me wrong, they'd fed them, they'd watered them, but they were petrified. And so any form of crate, and they scream. And it's not cry, it is a scream. And it was. And of course, when they go to a vet to have some form of operation, they put them in a crate. Well, instantly, they feel like they're back in the van, don't they? So, I got the phone call at 1 o'clock, come and get your dog. Okay. It is a known problem for them. I'd like to think they'd be slightly better now they're a bit older, but at the same time, maybe not, because we all know that things that are traumatic, even if you haven't had something that triggers you for a really long time, if it does, it was like it was yesterday. So poor little pappers, but they're a funny pair. She's a crackhead. She is utterly a crackhead. She's part mountain goat, parts crackhead. He will climb up on the couch, sit next to me, and just kind of be very gentle and slowly want some love. Yeah. That's kind of where these two are at. These two would hurt themselves and each other to try and get out of a crate. When I first got them, I bought a pen. It's not even a crate, but I bought a pen made out of like slotted together things. So it's not got a roof on it, it's not got a floor on it. It was just to make a circle so that they couldn't escape and do stupid things. Even having it up in the room, they were screaming. That first night, I tried to put them in it. I managed to get them in it. And I was going to sleep on the couch, like 1 foot away, screaming. That's all they did was scream. I couldn't. I really couldn't do it. They just were too broken. And so, as I say though, he is the most passive, gentle thing, except if you want to do his claws. She is I want to hug, but by the time she's halfway jumping onto her lap, she's changed. She's got ADHD. She's got violently huge ADHD because she kind of like, oh, I want a hug. Oh, why am I on your lap? I'll get off. Oh, I wanted a hug. That's right. Tries to get back on your lap. And it's kind of like, I need you to just sit still. I just, 5 minutes of my life, need you to sit still and not. She will climb all over you. She will. there are times, and most dog owners will understand this, it's not that you want to hurt the dog, because you really, really don't, but I would love a dog taser, just to get, on occasions, we all know that, I want to go out, roof, want to come in, roof, want to go out, roof, want to come in, roof, like, almost real time, out, roof, in, roof, and you just want to taser them for 5 minutes actual peace. I want to sit down on my couch and drink my drink. I'm not asking for a miracle. I don't need you to piss off for 6 hours. I just want 5 minutes to actually drink my drink while it's hot. That's it. If I win the lottery, that's what I want. That's my first choice. There are just times, which is why I have a convoluted door set up here. So my door is open. It's winter here, but I have my door open. Now, it's not flappity open. It is, I've got a thick bit of rope, it's about that thick, that goes from door handle on the inside to door handle on the outside to create a small gap so the door cannot properly shut. It's then got a elastic thing that pulls the door shut. But what it means is that from the inside, they walk into the door and can walk outside. From the outside, paw, the door opens, they come inside, and the door shuts behind them. So that I do not have to act as doorman 24/7 and drive myself absolutely loopy. I can tell you now, it's the best thing I ever did in the entire universe. Because we all know the roof. Roof! I want to go out and sniff a leaf. So you don't actually need to go out. No, this leaf, it was interesting. It's -10 and 3 in the morning. Can you hurry up investigating the leaf, please? Yeah. I obviously don't do it overnight because, well, burglars and all that. But I do have it during the day. So the moment I get up, the first thing I do, open the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that I can release the hordes of doom. And they are now free to go in and out. Actually, that's the wrong one, isn't it? I need it on here. So yeah, but it was just one of those kind of things, right? Is that I love my dogs, but at the same time, there are definitely times, I wouldn't hurt. Yeah, I mean, being British, we do centipedes, not freedom units, but this is true. We love our dogs, we truly do, but we all have moments where you threaten to kebab them for a 5 minutes piece. Somebody's asleep. You were snoring, Mr. Paws. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. He is really... Rory getting his name from... Rory and Amy clearly get their names from the Doctor's Companion. It is really quite funny, because obviously we named them before we met them. All we had were pictures. And I knew from the pictures, even though the picture I've got is head in hand, body down here, taken from in front, right? Thank you for your head on that, Rory. The world feels so much better now. But I knew that they were male and female, even though there was no way you could see. Oops. And I kind of went, yeah, I'll have both. And I named them Rory and Amy. as I say, despite having never met them, got no idea what their temperaments were like, we called them Rory and Amy. Rory is a nurse. He is a nurse dog. If you are slightly under the weather, he's almost there doing this with his paw. Are you all right? Do you need anything? He really does. He sits there very much doing the kind of, I can tell something's not right. I will be more attentive. I will sit there and, he's almost asking you questions and then getting pissed with you for not answering because you don't speak dog, right? Whereas Crackhead over there is complaining because an ant farted in Nova Scotia and she's put out by it, and that someone's given her the wrong colour nails or something, right? She is the most shallow, irritating dog I've ever met. I love her to pieces, but she is so polar opposite to my brother. She is utterly insane. She wants a hug, she enjoys a hug, but she can't stand still long enough to have one. The only time she still is like now when she's asleep. And that doesn't seem to be often, And in some ways it's kind of weird when you don't realise that you're not feeling great and the dog's being really attentive and you're like, fucking what? There's nothing wrong with me. And then you suddenly, the next morning you actually realise, something is wrong with you and you're like, okay, next time I'll take the hint. And you never do. I need to go and grab more liquid refreshment for my good self because I am out. Bear with me one moment. I shall leave you with the dogs this time, even though it's not their fault. Oh, that's really cool. It's funny. I have undivided attention. I can't imagine why. Are these for you? There you go. Chomp, 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 chomp. No, I don't understand it. As you say, it's the funny how the most peaceful time, and I mean, if you ever want one of my dogs to sit, just be holding food. That'll do it. At least we've got off the stage, because we're... Oh, don't they just? I mean, a dog can be deaf as a fruitcake, when it suits it. But should you crinkle a bag of something, 20 miles away, they'll hear. Hence, I swear she hears ants in Nova Scotia, because clearly the UK is not near Nova Scotia. But I mean, I've got really good hearing as long as it's not myself, right? She hears stuff and it's like, either it's, yeah, I know, it's the man, he's coming to do the garden, he's paid to do that, can you leave him alone? Or it's an ant farting in Nova Scotia because she's made it up. Um, she is funny. He doesn't make any noise. It's not that he can't. He doesn't need to because she does it all. She is such a gobby little cow. Hence her nickname is Amy Winehouse, because is what we get a lot of, isn't it? You're a talkative little girl sometimes. Yes. And you do stompies when you get excited. Yes. You're a funny little thing. Yes, you are. Rory's going to belch at you. Thank you, Rory. What time is it? 9:30. Let's start the next bit then. Come on. I can imagine. Huskies are well known for their vocalization of thoughts. They do not hold back. It wouldn't be so bad if they were tuneful, you know? You know, if they could sing a pretty tune while they did it, it would be great. But they don't. Can you imagine if, like, the Meow Mix advert or some of the pet adverts they've had over the years, where the pets have barked, woofed, meowed, whatever, a tune, if animals actually could be tuneful, it would be cool. You know, the America, Britain's whatever Got Talent thing, if you could actually have a choir of dogs that actually could sing. Yeah, I had a dog who did that. Well, she didn't compete with it in that sense. She was an ambulance chaser. I had an ambulance chaser for a dog once. Every time she heard a siren, she was off after it. It was embarrassing. You'd be in a park somewhere and she was kind of like, oh, really? Do we have to walk around this park? Can we not just like sit in the sun? She was the laziest dog I ever met. And once a year, and I truly mean once a year, she would go nuts, sprint round the park at the speed of light. She had a lot of speed when she wanted. And she'd kind of stop after a few turns and kind of look and go. It's a bit like, almost like the Queen going and doing mud wrestling. It was kind of like, she'd stop after a little bit and go, what? I was in the mood. That was it. That's the show over for the year. And but every time there was an ambulance, she'd run after it. She would head towards it, and you had to be careful because she would just flee and follow it. Scream! There's you screaming blue murder behind her, and she's just off after the ambulance. And I think that's always the risk, isn't it? Is that you go somewhere and there you are, minding your own business, having a laugh. The dogs are having a whale of a time. But, you know, it's one of the reasons I've never understood people who... That doesn't look right. If you look... I don't know if you can really see it. Hang on. Hang on. Let me just zoom in a little bit. You probably can't see it too well, but if I tilt it, just here, it's dented in a bit much. And I don't know why. Can I undo this stitch, I think? And have a look. See if I can work out why it's... So, undo... undo you, and then we look to see why it is that you are not straight like your friends. Well, first of all, because you're not twisted the right way, and secondly, there were not 2 twists. So that'll help. There, that's better. Go me, I spotted it before I went too far. I've always... Part of me admires those people who take their dog for a walk and they'll walk in absolutely anywhere with their dog not on a lead, and they've got every confidence that their dog will be fine. Well, in the right situation, yeah, I think most of my dogs would have done that to an extent. But what if someone dropped a kebab the other side of the road, or a burger or something? You really think my dog's not going to want that? What if there was a cat or a squirrel, and the squirrel goes, "Oh, fuck a dog," and flees? Well, and that's kind of, I mean, there are places that I trust my dogs to be off lead. But for the most part, I would never walk my dog in a open area that could lead to roads, because I just don't need something to happen, such as, you know, sirens, squirrels, cats, another dog. You know, all it takes is one moment and suddenly the world has turned round. I remember Charlie, the little man in my icon. He used to have swimming lessons because he blew both cruciate ligaments. So to give him some strength in his knees, we used to take him swimming. And we arrived at the swimming place one day, and the woman was really upset. I was like, "What's the matter?" And she goes... And that can be the problem. It's not that they're disobedient. The problem is something new and exciting, such as, you know, let's say you go hiking up a mountain, right? You know, in theory, yes, you can let your dog off because they're, you know, but at the same time, my dogs would bugger off. My dogs would go, ooh, I've just smelt something. See you later. And it's not that they're badly behaved. It's just that this is new and exciting, and frankly, you're boring. And, you know, but this woman was really upset. Well, and the problem is all dogs do when something such as a squirrel appears, right? That's all it takes. And this is roughly what happened. The woman that was really upset at the swimming place, she'd just got news that a little puppy she knew, who was less than a year old, saw something the other side of the road, tried to dart out in front of it, the lead snapped and went straight under a lorry and killed it. And you're like, yeah. When we had Charlie, we took him up nearby hill, and he was on an extending lead, which I'm not overly fond of, but he was on an extending lead, and it was more than rated for his size and weight. Man kind of came along because he was barking. Charlie started barking at this guy walking up the hill, and we were like, "Charlie, he's allowed to. It's his hill. It's not your hill." And he was like, "Oh, you're fucking talking." Bit of a mood. Charlie went to lunge to kind of play with him because he was actually really friendly. And the lead snapped. Yeah, that was embarrassing. The next time we went up the hill, my ex-husband was walking him. Now, admittedly, he just ran up to the bloke and wagged his tail, but he was just barking because it was like, me. He wasn't actually barking saying, "Screw you, I want to eat you," but the bloke would never have known that. And next time we went up the hill, Trev was holding him, and because I was not long out of chemo, so I was really weak, and so I was struggling to do the walk up the hills, let alone the, you know, hold a dog and all. Trev had the dog. Trev decided to run down this little bit of a kind of a gully kind of near the quarry. Tripped at the bottom. Let go of the dog so he didn't break his wrist and could stop himself from falling. Charlie ran up the other side and found himself nose to nose with a sheep. Because it's common land up there. And, well, Charlie thought that was a fucking great game. So Charlie pelts off after this sheep who goes, oh shit, a dog. So Charlie is now chasing sheep, which, by the way, is one of the few things your dog can be shot for in this country. And Trev's pelting after him while I'm screaming, oh my god, you know. And you're like... yeah. It took a little while before we felt confident to let Charlie off the lead, as a result. Because he'd been on the lead all of this time, and, well, it hadn't really worked out so well either time, you know. So letting him off the lead in bigger open areas was a little bit more challenging. But to be honest, he was a good boy. Once you... yeah. Yeah. And even if your dog's not wanting to eat it, the sheep don't know that. They then run and the dog goes, oh, a game. So it's not necessarily that the dog's thinking, you know, I fancy kebab with a bit of chili sauce. It is just a case of, ooh, fun thing I can chase, you know. This is also, of course, the problem with small, yappy type dogs. Yip, 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 yip. Sounds like a fucking squeaky toy. There used to be a guy who came to the park. Yeah. There used to be a guy who came to the park near my old house. And he had this thing. Yeah, anything that I could accidentally sit on and not notice. Anything I can sit on and not notice is too small, right? But preferably, frankly, I'd kind of like something like a Newfie crossed with, I don't know, some of those like American dogs. I mean, obviously, you know, the ones that, you know, you could mistake for a small horse or a bull, you know, something along those lines. I like Newfies because they're fluffy and I've got a real thing for that. But to be honest, I like big dogs. I like dogs, frankly. The only thing I don't do is small and hairless. Especially not small and hairless. That's just, you know, one thing too much, really. But this guy who used to come on his bicycle with this dog. I say dog, it literally was like this big. It seriously, it was the size of my slipper. But it was white. And he'd throw something, I assume it was a ball, but he'd throw something for this dog to chase. And it would go, beep, 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 beep. And it really sounded like a squeaky toy. And then it would do like forward rolls. Sounds glorious. I've got a friend who's got Pyrenees. You know, it's, you know, it's, if you're going to have a dog. Don't have a slipper. If you want something you can put in your handbag, buy a stuffed toy, you know. But this squeaky dog literally used to catch the thing and then roll over, and it would kind of like scream like its neck was broken. You know, like its neck was broken. And of course, it meant that every time he came into the park, I had to clip my dogs up because, well, they thought it was a squeaky toy. You know, even the well-behaved dogs I had in the past, let alone these two, I tried to think what these two would make of it. Yeah, it sounds like a chew toy. And most dogs like pulling the squeakers out of chew toys. You know? It's kind of what happens, you know. Is it too surprising then that they want to eat your little tiny squeaky yappy thing that sounds like their chew toys? Yeah. I mean, I do get that if you live in a small house, a smaller dog is potentially a lot better. I mean, you know, you've got to have a decent sized house to put a decent number of, or decent quantity of weight of dog in it. In this house, I could probably easily fit a couple more the size of my two without it feeling too crowded. But I do have a general consensus of one hand per dog, right? For control matters. Well, it is. I mean, how many indestructible dog toys have you bought that 5 minutes later it's in shreds that you can't even make out which one it was? You know, it's. I actually have. Well, there is that. I actually have 2 dog toys that she says, looking around, that are glorious, and I don't understand it, but these 2 have survived years. Now, they had squeakers in, both of them. Squeakers obviously got punctured, don't squeak no more. But the toy itself did not get decimated. Hang on. There it is. So you'll have to... Oh, most dogs do. Now, this is what I don't understand about these toys. So, everyone's awake now. This is Gecko. Gecko is... Well, there's a big... I mean, if I do that, you can see there's a big kind of oval... Because I'm squeezing really hard. There's a big, like, almost Kinder Egg oval thing that was a squeaker in the middle there. And there's another one here. So there's two squeakers that were in him. This is Rory's. And this one is Amy's. They chose them. This is Dino. Now, Dino had squeaker in the middle here. But both of these... You going to take Dino? That's a good girl. Both of them, they destroyed everything. Every toy that was everybody else's that was already here, absolutely decimated it. I bought those 2. Rory picked Gecko, she picked Dino, everyone was chill, and they are very much, they're allowed to touch each other's. They're not like, oh, you can't play with my toy. But it is, all of my dogs have learnt, Maddie was especially good at it, to go and get their toys. Charlie was phenomenal. So you'd be walking around a park with some dude and his dog, because as you probably well know, as dog owners, you kind of collect together and mutter about the weather and chat while you're walking around. And they'd suddenly realise that their dog had dropped their toy. And I'd go, Charlie, go get his ball. And Charlie would go, oh yeah, I know where he dropped that. And he'd go straight to it, pick it up and bring it back and drop it and go, there you go. And people went, how did you train him to do that? And I went, I didn't. He did it by choice. And he would know which toy's which. So, for example, I can ask Amy or Rory, where's Gecko, where's Dino? And they know which one I mean. Now, do they know that that is a Gecko and that is a Dino? Probably not. But, if I say, where's Dino, and Gecko's in the middle of the floor, they go and look at Gecko and kind of go, that's not the one I want. And then they'll go and look for it. So it is kind of weird. They are quite good and they will generally bring them back. They kind of got to be in the mood a little bit. But Charlie was phenomenal. Charlie, you've left your ball in the garden. Go and get it. Did I? Oh, okay. I need to go and find it and he'd bring it in. He was a good boy. Right, we need to convert to downwards movement because shunting all these bobbins around is annoying. So yeah, but those 2 toys, for some reason, they didn't destroy them. And I don't know why. They destroyed everything else. Oh, the other weird thing. So I need to check who's looking. I have to have this permanently in my pocket. because somebody gets a little excited. Maddie and Fiona, Fiona was not used to being a dog with friends. So Maddie and Fiona, from the very first moment Fiona met everybody, took turns. I had Fiona for a couple of days to see how she reacted to my dogs, and we were in the garden, and I threw a tennis ball and Maddie went and got it. Fiona bought a different ball, and when I threw that, only Fiona went to get it. So they then took turns and waited in a queue, very British, waited in a queue so that they could, and I was going to go the other way, wasn't I? Idiot. So that they took turns, and they always took turns. There were a few times that they played with the same toy, even if it was the same toy in the park. They would take turns and bring it back. Oh, it's your turn now. They both chase after it. Oh, but it's your turn. Off you go. They were. It was bizarre. It really was. These two don't. Rory doesn't understand the game of fetch. He'll chase his sister, but he doesn't see the point of throwing a toy and bringing it back. She absolutely loves it. She absolutely loves it. Hence the ball has to be in my pocket. Fiona, bless her, as Tenchi would tell you if he was here. Fiona had a thing for a Kong toy known on Amazon as Squirrel Dude. To the rest of the world, Purple Squirrel. Purple Squirrel was the bane of my existence because Fiona was basically a collie with the wrong fur. As a result of being a collie, she had the stubbornness and the willpower to go like the ever-ready bunny, right? And, well, basically, if you were not throwing the purple squirrel, you should be. And, if you were awake and the purple squirrel was not being thrown, you were lacking. You were slacking, you were useless, and how very dare you. But this purple squirrel, for example, let me show you what purple squirrel looks like. Hang on. Amazon. So, hang on. Hopefully you can see Squirrel Dude. This is Squirrel Dude. Yeah, this is Squirrel Dude. This was Fiona's prize and joy. She loved this shit. And I grew to really hate it. Because it was the constant throw it, throw it, throw it, throw it, throw it. I did occasionally threaten to throw it, shove it up a butt, but I didn't mean it. Well, I did, but I didn't, if you know what I mean. It's the same category as tasering dog. It is, I loved her playing, I was always happy for her, but at the same time, I didn't want to be chucking the purple squirrel. So yes, unfortunately ads in a bit. Oh, it is! It is! It's just a purple squirrel-shaped Concoy. It is no more special than that, but she didn't want anything else. I bought a whole load of toys when I got her, because the home she came from, she didn't have any. And all the toys were for baby, and, oh no, you can't touch that, darling, that's babies, right? And I felt very sorry for her, so when she arrived, although we had plenty of dog toys, I wanted her to have something that was hers. So I bought a shitload of dog toys, put them all on the couch and got her to pick one. That is what she picked, and she was addicted to that thing. It was like it had drugs in it. It was horrific. And I will say that when we had her cremated, we asked for her to be done with her purple squirrel because we didn't want the bloody thing in the house. But it was hers. It was not anyone else's, you know? The family who had her, in my mind, really let her down. I know I've only got a few seconds to add, so I'll tell you after the ads. So. Ads are about to start. They'll kick in any minute. It still says ads starting soon, so they will. It's just a bit worrying that they haven't started yet. It does this occasionally. Twitch tells me, there you go. You taunted the demon and it came after you. No. I think it's hard. Dogs go through the irritating, eating, chewing, destructive 3-second attention span stage for a number of years at the beginning, and each time you do it, it's where you swear it took longer, right? Then you get through a stage where they're better behaved, and they're kind of like teenagers where they occasionally screw up, but it's not so bad. Then they get to the kind of perfect stage, but by this time, they're kind of 6 or 7. And then the next few years fly by because, of course, they're perfect. They don't do anything wrong. They know exactly what's expected of them, and all of that kind of stuff. And then it's kind of, they get old and tired and, oh my goodness, that's a load of patch notes. yeah. It is quite sad because it does seem that the end comes far too quickly. Um, wow. Got a nice range though, and in some ways that's a good thing. Because one of the good, you know, one of the things that you do suffer from is, you know, the older ones will help teach the younger ones. So it is good to have kind of a rolling dog set. Well, Maddie came to me a bit like that. I'd had a shitty week at work and it was an absolute bitch. And I got I got a photo the day before. Do you want another dog? Yes, said me. You know, we can always have another dog. You know, if you're sending me photos of a dog, do you want another dog with a picture? I'm not going to say no. Not really. And especially back then we had two, so we could have a third. That wasn't a problem. And so the next morning, when everything was cool at work and the disaster of the week had abated, I went, well, I've already worked like 100 hours, so bye, I'm going home. And I didn't. I drove straight round to my husband's place of work, and because they'd brought the dog to work so I could go and meet it after work. And I kind of went, I'm here early. And I knelt down in the car park, and this dog climbed onto my shoulders for a better view of the world. And they said, do you want to take her? And it's like, well, how can I not? So I gained a dog that day. Fiona I got from Tesco's. I went buying some food, and, you know, I had to ask the girl, you know, have you got any of these? And she was like, no, sorry, I like those too, but, you know, they haven't had any for ages. And I said, you know, after a bit of a chat, as you do, kind of like, right, I'm off home to see the dogs. She burst into tears, and I'm like, shit, what did I do? And she went, oh, you know, my child's going to get taken into care. I think my dog's going to kill it. And why? Oh, I think it will knock it down the stairs. And then, you know, okay. And she was like, but I don't want to put it in a dog's home. And I said, well, you know, as it happens, Charlie and Brown had both died 2 weeks. Well, Charlie had died like 4 weeks earlier, Brown 2 weeks earlier. And so I was feeling a little dog-like because I kind of had Maddie and Lucy. Lucy was a collie who hated everyone and everything, and frankly was invisible. Oh. How are you spelling that? Sorry, not how you spelling that, because clearly see how you spell it. How are you pronouncing that? Because it's really funny, because Brown, her proper name was Kira, as in after Kira Nerys from Star Trek. So how are you pronouncing Kira in your dog's name? Because I'm curious how you spell it, because of course we made it up. Is it Kyra or Kira? Kyra, okay. Fair enough. It was just that fair enough. It could have been Kira, which would have been a bit spooky because obviously I was talking to Brown. But you know, I got Kira, by the way, from I went to buy dog food for Charlie, and Trev had Charlie at work because we didn't dare leave him at home because he was a little shitbag because he was only like he was only a few months old, and he'd just had his knackers done, so he was a little bit feisty at this point, and on the way back there was a hell of a traffic jam because round here you don't get traffic jams, and it was on a dual carriageway especially, and it was kind of like, it's a bit weird for a Saturday. And I got to the front and there was a dog wandering around the dual carriageway. So I got out, went in the boot of my car, grabbed a bunch of dog food, went, hello, and the dog kind of went, hello, and I captured it. Oh, she's been around here for ages, but no one could catch her. Seriously, I pretty much held a bonio out in my hand and she came in at it. I called the RSPCA and they went, is she injured? And I said no, and they went, well, we're not coming then. Oh, okay. So I took her with me because what else do you do? And got to work where Trev was and went, Trev, can you bring out Charlie's lead but not the dog? What? Just do it, Trev. And he came out and there was a dog. They do know who their people are, and so we picked up a brown dog and we did some research. And unfortunately in this country, if you find a dog, up to a year later, so let's say Kira had lots of things wrong with her and she needed, you know, huge medical bills. Up to a year later, literally man in the street can walk up and go, that's my dog, and you have to hand it over. You can't keep it. However, if you hand it over to the dog shelter and they advertise it as lost dog, you can have first dibs on getting dog back. So this is what we did. Now, initially, we didn't call her Kira. It was a slightly sick joke, but bear in mind, we weren't expecting to keep her. So, you know, it's just the name and all that. Because we had Charlie, aka Charles, we called her Diana. Bear in mind, Lady Diana had Princess Diana had long since died by that point. But it was just kind of a bit of a sick joke for Charlie and Diana. And anyway, she was in the dog shelter 10 days, and after 10 days we could adopt her, so we did. Because we had only had her overnight. We literally had her overnight. We all loved her, including Charlie. We all missed her, so after 10 days we went and got her and paid money for her. So I found a dog on a dual carriageway in Tesco's, at work. I don't care. Everybody's rejects are my love, right? I am the British. I love the underdog. Kira was really sad though, because she'd obviously been abandoned because she was in season, and she'd been tied up with literally cassette tape, and she'd been hanging around the back of a curry place because, as mentioned, Kira was a very lazy dog. Brown was lazy to an extent never before seen in life. She was a statue pretty much 90% of the time. And except if you had curry. If you had, the stronger, the hotter, the more bowel cleansing that curry was, the more animated that dog was. And the more likely she was to take the titbit and your arm with it. If you normally fed her, she would gently take it like the most perfectly behaved dog that she could be. If you put curry on the end of that, you were going to lose an arm. Easily. Preferably your body with it, right? She would eat you alive for curry. Well, to be honest, I'm kind of done for today. So I've got to the end of this section. And it is 10:15, and I'd like to upload this, well, it won't happen today, but it will be as close to the day as I can, because I store these on YouTube for further viewing. So I'm just going to push some pin down, because, well, we need to push down. We need to push down the pin. So yes, worry not. It's been nice to have you. Please come back again. We shall hope to be here tomorrow. Ooh! That sounds promising, Naughty Cat. I'm getting cramp in my hand. The problem is this is quite thin, and because you don't hold it like a pen, I get cramp. Use my finger. This is why using my fingers is so much easier, because, well, I don't get cramp when I do that. I might get sore fingers, but I don't get cramp. And especially if you use plumber's tape or some rubbery glue. So, for example, while this is fabric glue, this goes rubbery. So it sets, but it's rubbery. So if you'd put that inside it, it would glue it to the previous one and make a rubbery bond finish, which can be quite good because then it will flex a bit. It doesn't make it brittle and hard. Super glue works, but it does tend to, of course, make it a bit more brittle, was all my only thought to that. Which is part of the reason I bought that glue, so that when we get to the end of this square, we've got a more rubbery. Cheap as shit, this stuff. But as I say, it is technically fabric glue. So why have I got some bobbins left over? Where have I miscounted? Because we all know that there should be groups of 5. So somewhere I must have screwed it up. But it doesn't look like it. Oh well. It's okay. Now, I do need to do... Let me put this on here. Bit empty, but whatevs, right? And put you around here. And I'm going to push you down a little bit to make you nice and strong. Because, well, if I put my laptop on it tomorrow, I don't want it to bend them. This then tomorrow can go around here. Right, let's push you back so that we can see. And we take this as end of today's, because this will be start of tomorrow's video picture, because this is how it's working there. It's actually really hard to remember to use the day before's picture, and not the end picture, if you know what I mean. But I would imagine there is a reasonable chance that, depending on what time I start tomorrow, we might even finish this tomorrow, which will mean we did a triangle in like 3 days. We do seem to be doing really well recently. Do keep me up to date on your joys of, on your Bissell though, Naughty Cat, and do shout if I can help, obviously. I mean, I know you're down the road, but it's only down the road. Well, okay, it's quite a drive down the road, I'm sure, but you know, and it's not like I've got to have a passport, much to the jokes of all the Welsh. Yes, I know. And all we Brits do is go, there's a reason why they charge you to come in and not on the way out, you know. We don't mean it. Well, some of us don't. So yes, that's me done for the day. I shall cover up, put Gecko back on the floor. Because I don't need Gecko. Rory and Amy need Gecko. For some reason, I've started calling Rory Charlie, and I don't quite understand why. Now, there is part of a reason for that, is that they do have some very similar characteristics. But Charlie's been dead for quite a few years. True. Here we go. Let's cover that up. Yeah, that should be good enough for my laptop. There's a flattish bit here, that'll be fine. Because it's exactly where I put my laptop. Because watch this. Here is my work laptop. And let me quickly take that off. My laptop sits just here, look. This is why, yeah. I'll need that tomorrow. So, yeah. Where did the headphones run off to? There they are. Put them out the way so they don't get broken. Because the headphones we buy are the most fragile things I've ever met. Not suitable for dog owners, that's for sure. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to have you all. We shall be hopefully back tomorrow. I will have a disappointing meeting in the morning, but hopefully I will have got over that by the evening. So, other than that, should be good. As I say, there's every chance we will finish the triangle tomorrow. And then we'll get to start a new one. We definitely do seem to be getting a bit faster at it. So, that can only be a good thing. Some of it is because if I manage to fill in Hedgehog... the problem is I've been playing game instead of filling Hedgehog when I've got time, so... I did! 16 was pretty fast, but 17 was super fast. So 17 almost kind of like, how the hell did that happen? And this one's not too bad, because of course we only started it, Sunday? It's Tuesday. And, you know, if I'd started at 5 o'clock, we could have possibly even finished that tonight. How the hell did that happen? So we are definitely... Something has changed. Even with fishing the pins out the pot, it wasn't that much slower. So, kind of pleased with myself, kind of not, because, well, kind of pleased with myself, because, to be honest, I don't really want to be making it for 18 months. So, you know, it would be nicer if it could be sooner and we could make other things. But the problem is weekends are the best time for an experiment when you can do a decent chunk of it. And so unless you finished a triangle kind of on Friday, breaking off and doing a different chunk on Saturday feels a bit weird. So, but never mind. Anyway, we shall see you tomorrow. That's right. Gives me a chance to move my lace cushion well out the way now and put my table back where it deserves to be. Just roll it round the corner. Turn the light off. I hope so. I hope to see you all again. Please do come back. I do like people to talk to. I think in some ways that helps. Having people to talk to while I'm doing a bit of lace macing helps keep me going. Whereas if it's just me sitting in silence going bobbiny, 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 it's too easy to be distracted. It's too easy to put something on the telly and end up watching that instead. So do come back. Do talk to me. I do enjoy it. And hopefully I shall see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.